Okay, I want to do a video here on using custom fields in QuickBooks Online with Label Connector for printing your labels. There's some things in the API here that we've learned that about the proper way to set this up. But basically, to get custom fields to work in Label Connector in your QuickBooks, when you're configuring your custom fields, there's a few things you have to know. First of all, um, I'll show you what the developer forum says about this, but basically you can only use your first three custom item fields created, and those are going to be the bottom three. And you got to include your inactive fields, right, to make sure you got some inactive ones because you might need to delete some. But basically the oldest three are going to be the bottom three in the list, and when you set them up, they have to be of text and number type, and then you have to enable a certain minimum amount of the forms that it's going to show on. I've been able to get this to work with just these four enabled. Sales transactions and purchase transactions is what the developer forum says they have to be shown on. So I enabled these four, and I've got it working fine. So, but basically, as you add new custom fields, those get added to the top of the list. Only the first original three down at the bottom will work, and that's the limit with the API right now from QuickBooks. And so you might be able to rename some of these so that they appear with the name that you want, so that your users that are going to be populating data, can get the data added correctly. And if you have to, I would assume you could probably also delete some that you're not using and rearrange the order and get the oldest, the ones you want to use to the bottom here so that they're considered the first three. Now, in the basic versions of QuickBooks, this custom field setup screen is entirely different, and I haven't been able to get that to come up. But basically, it's a real simple interface with the basic edition, and you only have three custom fields that you can use, and so you're going to have to rename one of those three for your use, because there's a limit of three. So you can call us if you need help with that. But basically, that's the idea, is you got to use one of these bottom three. Those are the oldest three because the new ones get added to the top. You got to use text and number data type. And then down here, you got to have at least these four things enabled. You might be able to try disabling some of those and see if it still works. But so then I've got them named test field 1, 2, and 3 here. You'll see in Label Connector, I've created a label for us to test this with. And basically, the way you just add these to your label is you just drag them out from over here. I've got them already. We've already got them kind of pre-set up for you in Label Connector for your use. So you just drag them out, and if you're getting confused about what order, I would just drag all three out so you can get it sorted out. But basically, if I save this now, and then here's the invoice, just so you can see what the invoice looked like that I created, 1038. I just added some dummy data in here, and we'll see that pull into the label. Okay, and there's my three fields as I named them, so you can get them any name you want. But basically, I populated some example data in here. Let's save this, and let's go to, and then this has been saved. Let's go home here, and let's pull up invoice number 1038. And then I'm just going to print for the first item here. And I'm just going to just get any kind of output, and I got to just select my custom field test label that I just showed you in the other screen. So get that selected, and then you print the order quantity or one each. You can see I got all three values pulled in here. Now on my screen, they're in reverse order. We're going to fix that. And so by the time you use this video, it'll have these properly ordered for you. So we can support up to three custom fields. They have to be the oldest three. So you can reorder them any way possible in your QuickBooks if you need to. They got to be text and number type as the data type, and then you got to enable them in your sales and transactions, sales and purchase transactions. So that's what these checks are here. So you got to have at least these 4 enabled for it to work. And where we discovered this is in the developer forum. You got to. They said all sales and purchase transaction types, but I wanted to kind of do some work for you guys to kind of reduce how many of those you got to have it shown in. You got to. They said to use string type, which is basically text and number. So we can make those work. If you have any questions, certainly reach out to AccuWare. But basically, you got to use your oldest 3, and if you have the simpler version of QuickBooks, it's going to be just. You only have 3 custom fields you can use. So you're going to have to just rename one of them to show on your invoice or wherever you want to use it, and we can support those. So that's how you get those working. Thanks. Hope this helps. Contact AccuWare if you have any questions. Thanks. Our information on how to get a hold of us will be in the description of the video. Thanks.